I have another question about the group per se, but it's really about you, Lance.
Uh-oh.
So I had Shelley right in this chair.
Love Shelley.
Yeah, we've been really, really close friends for 20-something years. And we did a deep dive on how she, the first few years I met her and worked with her, she had a #1 country single white female. She was beautiful, so she had like a sort of sex symbol kind of thing going, huge male following, and she's gay and she can't. Like, she really feels like it's career suicide. And, this is her story to tell, but we talked a lot about it on the episode I did with her. But her hiding who she was led to some severe emotional issues and suicidal thoughts. And so you and I have never talked about this. You're in this group, you're teen idols, you're dealing with a level of success that less than 1% of people deal with. And are you thinking, I can't be authentic, I can't come out, I can't?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was horrible. As an artist, horrible, because you're not yourself.
Right.
Now I look at anything I did with NSYNC, interviews, music, videos, and I don't even recognize myself, because you can tell I'm like I just wanted to disappear. I didn't want to show myself because I thought people would figure it out if I talked too much,
And if they figured it out, you thought
the band was over. And the sad thing is, it would have been. It would have been.
At that time,
it
probably.
would have been. I'm sorry, but in the 90s, if you were gay, especially in a group like this, your career is over. And I knew that even at a young age.
I know you've written about it because you wrote a wonderful memoir, and I know you've talked about this, but you and I have never talked about it. That's years of you struggling with that while enjoying immense success. I'm sure that there were tremendous highs where you were like, I can hear, even just the way you described some of those days, the joy that I can hear in your voice. But you were the one sort of suffering in silence, right?
Yeah, but I'd already been suffering in silence because I knew I was gay at 5 years old, and I am in Mississippi. So, I woke up every morning crying and praying to God he would change me straight, because, it's just like I was very religious at the time too. So I was always told that you're going to hell,
right.
You're done. And so it was, I had such anxiety just being a high school student in Mississippi. Then you go over into, you're finally at that age where you're hitting puberty and you're supposed to start dating and all this. And I started having such high anxiety in high school because I knew, crap, I got to start dating. I'm got to go to college. Like, how do I hide this? How are you supposed to hide this? And then that's when I got the call from the guys. And I'm like, this is the best way to hide this. Like, I don't even have to deal with this.
A bit of escapism.
It was, I mean, it helped me so much because I wasn't stressed out about my friends starting to date and like, where am I going to go to college? And I was dating a girl at the time, but I'm like, how do I do this? Because I know I'm not going to be with her. So this was such a great distraction, and it gave me such an amazing excuse of, I'm too busy. Oh, you're always in a different city. You can't meet people. So for a couple of years, it was the best excuse. Mm-hmm. Still, sucked and wanted to change myself. And again, I didn't want to talk because...
Did you force yourself to not be in relationships or date people,
Yeah, I mean,
Did you sort of go, I'm just going to do the work. I can't have...
I put everything into everything. If I wasn't, doing NSYNC stuff, I was thinking about something else. I was always just trying to just keep myself busy, so I didn't have to worry or think about relationship. And especially when the guys started dating, and having all these serious girlfriends, and I'm sitting here like, oh God, they're going to figure it out. Oh my God.
Or even just casual sex on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, there was times where you'd have to. I mean, there was times where I would meet a girl and feel like, okay, I have to go through with this, which in a weird way, you kind of like fuck yourself over because you feel like you're, basically being yourself in a way. Like you're like, I don't want to do this, but I'm doing this. And it's just, you're hurting yourself. Like it's crazy.
Right.
a way of thinking of it, but that's how you feel. So yeah, that sucked. And then, I did meet a girl, which I thought I loved. I really did. I'm like, I think this is what love is. If I'm going to be straight and I'm never going to act on it, because I was like, I will never act on this. That's what my church always told me. It's like, just don't act on it.
Boy, have I heard this.
And so, and so I met Danielle Fishel, and I just loved her, what I thought was love.
But were you hot for her?
Yes, I thought so. See, again, I'm like, yes, I did. I was so attracted to her.
No, she's beautiful.
I mean, and we just got along so great, and she was my best friend. And I was like, this is what love is. This is who I should marry, right? And then, you date for a couple of years, and then you're like, oh my God. No, you start to really figure out who you are, and this is not going to change, and how unfair it is for her, because it's going to come out. And I remember it was our prom night that everything changed. And we were at Calabasas High at her prom, and that was the night she was ready to lose her virginity. And I had all that on my shoulders. And although I'd lost my virginity at the time, that was the first time that I said, I cannot do this to someone I love. Because I flash forward 3 years from now, and then she's going to look back. She's like, I lost my virginity to a gay guy. Yeah. Like, what? I didn't want that to be her story, which is a lot of people's stories, by the way, on prom night. So many stories. Oh my God. The amount of girls that come up and be like, I lost my virginity to a gay guy on prom night too. So I couldn't, I'm glad that I realized that at that time. I did not want to, and it was very confusing for both of us. It broke her heart at the time. She didn't, because obviously I didn't come out to her that night. It just seemed like I was an asshole.
Some other,
it just seemed like I just was not interested. And like, what the hell?
What did you do?
You always blame it I'm too religious. Always. That was the other great crutch. Which I was highly religious at the time, but it was such a great excuse too. It was like, no, can't have sex.
I'm saving myself for marriage.
Exactly. But it's still, she knew something was up. Yeah. And I remember her mom even said, like, well, Danielle, do you think he might be gay? And she was like, what are you talking? And she was so defensive over that. And kind of found out, she was right. Yeah.
Have you guys seen each other? And
yes, we've become really close. Yeah. There was years where, we took obviously a break. Yeah. But just in the last few years, we've become very, very close. In fact, she's right now doing Dancing with the Stars. So I was with her opening night. Which was really fun, to see her do that.
And you can give her some tips.
Yeah. And in fact, we're working on, I don't know if you know Lauren Lafkus and Mary Holland. Lauren Lafkus, she's a great comedian and actress. She was in The Wrong Missy with David Spade. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's so good. But yeah, she and Mary are writing a film about our prom night at Calabasas High. So I can't wait to see if they actually do something. But I'm like,
it's actually a really.
I mean, it'd be hilarious.
So the end is anticlimactic.
There's going to be a little difference.
Works.
there's a little difference in this one, but but it'll be very
some
interesting to
dramatic
see how they do this.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So when you came out publicly, I'm sure it was like, I would imagine it's like every other famous person who says it was like getting out of prison.
Yeah. It was, at first, obviously, I'm super anxious because, again, it was a different time. If it was now, I wouldn't be so worried at all. But then there was no representation of gay people at all. I think the only person that I really knew that was gay, was Elton John. It's like that's the only people I could really like.
And Ricky Martin.
Ricky wasn't out at all.
He wasn't out.
No, not at all. He came out after me, like way after me.
Wow.
But it was, 2005, 6? It was 2006. And you would think that that's like, oh my God, 2006, easy. No, it was still just, no one had a successful coming out.
Did you have fans who actually said to you that they were disappointed in you?
Oh, yeah.
Or
oh my gosh.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Really? Yeah. Oh, I had so many people just be like, bye. But for the most part, it was super positive. Yeah. I thought it was going to be way more negative than it was.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't the being gay that made people mad at me. It was that I was lying to them for so long. And I had that in my personal life. Like friends of mine that I still don't talk to this day were like, how dare you lie to me? and they don't understand
not
like
fair.
why I had to lie. Which
That's
they, I
not
mean, they
fair.
just if you don't understand, you just don't get it, you know. So I can see where they're coming from, but that was
I
the thing
think that
they can't
there's a
get over.
fine line, and I'll tell you, I know she wouldn't mind at all. When Shelley wrote her book and came out finally, we had a conversation about it, and I said, all I felt was nothing like what you just described. But I remember saying to her, I feel bad that you didn't feel like you could trust me with that.
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
And she, of course, being Shelley, she was like, I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to, it's not that I felt like I couldn't trust you. She went all of a sudden my brain went, well, you're making this about you even now,
Yeah.
dick. And I immediately was like, can we just rewind? I had no business even saying that, that I wish you could have, fuck me.
Yeah, but how do you know? You don't know what to say to people like that. But Shelley, I understand it because you always think if you told one person, it was done.
Exactly what
Even
she
if they
said.
accidentally
And there
revealed
were
it.
rumors,
And you
just like
don't
I'm sure
want them to
there were
have that
rumors about you.
secret, that
Right.
they have to carry. So you never told anyone. And that's what made you made yourself even more crazy because you're the only person you get to talk about this to over and over again. And it's, you need someone to let it out to. But when I finally did it, I definitely thought it was going to be horrible. I thought these guys were going to hate me. I thought the group was going to be completely done. And I went to Catalina for a week. I was like, I am unplugging. I don't want to even know what anyone is saying because I know it's going to be horrible. And then finally when I came up for air and I saw what the Jay Leno's of the world were saying and the comedians, the people that would just, talk about this and kind of put a joke about it, didn't make the joke about it. The joke was like, why do we care?
Right.
And that was the first time I'd ever seen that, where the majority of the public was like, can we get over this now?
Yeah.
Like, does anyone care about this? And that made me feel so good. And I just saw the change then. I just saw kind of like, okay, we've gone over that hill now.
Was
Let's
there a
not go back.
thought, I wish I'd done this sooner, or do you stick with
No, of course I wish I could have done it
No,
sooner.
but you were just saying that the timing might have been...
Personally, I would have loved to have been able to be myself going into the group. I mean, even at 6 years old, being able to know who I was. I mean, I would have had a better life, a happier life, a happier childhood. Do I think, at that time I would have never made the group? Probably not. It would have had a different life.
Yeah.
But yes, going back, I would have rather been my authentic self because I just would have been just a happier person.
Yeah.
There's so much, and I'm still trying to unpack these things at 46 years old. I still go down the street of New York, and I go to reach for my husband's hand, and I don't sometimes.
Really?
Because you're like,
That's
because you're just so
You were
used
so
to
conditioned.
Yeah. And I mean, those things will always be.
And you've been
because
married, 10 years now?
11 years now. Yeah. But, someone my generation that's just always probably going to be in your head. And that's why I love that this younger generation, they won't have that much inside them of like, people are staring. They don't give a fuck, which is so great.
Right.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I don't think we as a society can even really mark when it was no longer that big a deal.
No, yeah, of course.
Because I remember being a kid and hearing about David Bowie being bisexual or Elton being bisexual or whatever when I was a kid in the 70s. Mm-hmm. But that was free love, and that was like...
It was actually more accepted by...
And I just wonder if there was sort of a delineation point where American society, and when I say American society, you also got to factor in super religious people, which there are millions and millions of, who would under no circumstances accept that.
Yeah, and I think the 90s kind of changed that a lot because like you said, the 60s, 70s were kind of, everyone was kind of accepted and had, swinger parties, that kind of stuff. That was the big thing. Then I think it was kind of the Reagan era in the 80s and then really the 90s where, the fairness doctrine went away and all that.
And also the stigma that AIDS created against the gay community.
Crazy, all the misinformation and all that. And then you have the birth of like Fox News and very conservative media that are really like harping on like, no, this is the way everything should be. And And, I grew up in the church during that time too. So you were just indoctrinated into thinking this only. So I think that, the 90s really turned super conservative for a lot of people. And we're still feeling that in 2025.